What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome to my analysis and breakdown of the newer banner. And we have got Year Nerthuz as the first unit. So she's a colorless beast cavalier this time, and she was teased in the silhouette. So she's got her preferred weapon, Cute Paper Crane, which is a 14 might weapon enabling Kanto 2. So getting the fixed Kanto is pretty nice because this version of Nerthuz doesn't really come with an alarm skill, and then she can have -1 special cooldown, making Aether Gale Force into a 4 cooldown special. And then if her HP is at or above 25%, she can get +5 to all of her stats and can get even more stats depending on her maximum special cooldown count multiplied by 2. So if you run her with Aether, Miracle or Gale Force, then you can get +12 to all of her stats straight up. And she also has full null follow-up built in, and she's the first unit to have the flat damage reduction using the speed. So she can get 25% flat damage reduction depending on her speed on foes' first attacks. So this is going to be including the brave attacks. So we have seen a bunch of flat damage reduction with Asker, Brave Dimitri and stuff like that. So this is going to be giving you that unpierceable damage reduction, which is really valuable nowadays because we have got units that can completely pierce the damage reduction, and also skills like physical null follow-up and magical null follow-up. Not to mention even Legendary Camilla, who can give out the 50% damage reduction piercing status. So having this kind of damage reduction is good. And then she has got the standard Beast Cavalry transformation that we have seen before with the release of Aether. So she's able to get the pierceable 30% damage reduction out of this if she's transformed, and also get the attack and defense debuff on the enemy. So Nerthuz wants to run high cooldown specials, and that's why she comes with Aether. And then she's got a beast exclusive skill in Attack Speed Wild. So this is a branch off skill of Attack Speed Solo, which is going to be making it easier for you to inherit this along with Speed Smoke 4 that she has got. So it is going to be checking for the number of adjacent allies other than the Beast and Dragon units, and it should be 1 or less than 1 ally, or if the unit is transformed, then you can get +7 attack and speed, and also get special cooldown +1 per attack in the combat, and after the combat you're able to heal up 7 HP. So this is a pretty good skill because Beast Flyers and Beast Cavaliers can only run Heavy Blade, and meeting the check of the Heavy Blade skill is really hard. So getting the special charges out of this is good, but at the same time it does mean that you're not able to use a Beast unit as the Wings of Mercy beacon because they're going to be healing up the HP. So like regular Nerthuz can be used with Double Fury build, and then you can just fall into the Wings of Mercy range of your allies. That cannot really be done with this Nerthuz, at least with this. So it is going to be a pretty good skill with Gale Force and Aether, and even with lower cooldown specials, it is going to be useful because Infantry Beast units do have the tempo effect out of their transformation. So once they're transformed, they're able to make use of the special charges, and they don't really have to run Pledge Slotsy skill anymore if they're running this skill. So I really love the fact that they've got a Beast exclusive skill. I think we also need a Beast exclusive and Dragon exclusive specials. So Nerthuz keeps her Fruit of Life, and she doesn't really get any kind of changes to this. So she can inflict -5 speed and defense debuff on the foe, and she has got 40% damage reduction, which is completely pierceable, but it does have the damage reflection. So in a way she can hit hard even when she's using Gale Force, and then she's able to get the Null Guard effect and also inflict the gravity effect on the target and any kind of foe one space of the target. And she has also got Speed Smoke 4, which is going to be stacking up with the damage reduction of her Fruit of Life and also the damage reduction from the transformation part of her weapon. So it is all going to be used up before she's going to be applying the flat damage reduction from her weapon. So she's going to be pretty tanky with that, with her high speed of base 47, which also has a super boon, and she can function as a hit and run unit in Aether Raids offense by using Gale Force. And it is going to be a bit annoying to get into the Wings of Mercy range again because of the healing, and you cannot really get rid of Attack Speed Wild because then she's not going to be having access to special charges. So she's mainly going to be doing the hit and run, which is not the worst thing. And then in Summoner Duels, I think that she's going to be a pretty good Miracle frontliner because of all of the flat damage reduction and the special charging that she can get. And the healing that she gets is always going to be helpful with the Miracle usage. So having used a lot of Miracle original Nerthuz, I can say that she can definitely work in Summoner Duels. And in Aether Raids offense, like I said, hit and run is going to be the main way that she's going to be functioning. And in a lot of in-game content, she can just function with Gale Force. Kind of wish that she came with that, but you'll have to spend 20,000 feathers for that. And then we have got Kvasir as the green infantry mage this time. So we just got the mythic version of her, and here she's available as a blessable unit. So we can see all of her stats over here, and she's gonna be initiating combat against this green bat. So Faded Paper Fan is her preferred weapon, giving her -1 special cooldown. So her preferred special becomes a 4 cooldown special, and she can get +5 to all of her stats in the combat, and she can debuff the opponent's speed and resistance by 20% of her visible speed stat. And she has also got the damage reduction piercing by 50%. So if you run something like Magical Null Follow-Up or give her the status of Legend Camilla, then you're gonna be able to pierce the damage reduction of the enemy by 75%. It does stack up multiplicatively. And just like her mythic version, she's able to get 70% damage reduction on foes' first attack, including the brave hits, for her first combat for a turn. And the mythic version of Kvasir comes with Panic Smoke, but the newer version comes with Flash Smoke, which I would argue is a lot more unique. And just like her mythic version, she has got Lightest Time. Now I know that it's not been that long that since we have gotten her, but still I want to retrade because, you know, complexity creep is out of the window nowadays in FEH. So Lightest Time is her preferred special, which is a 4 cooldown special with her weapon, and it is going to be boosting the damage by 60% of foes' attack stat. And nowadays the attack stat of units are really high. So this is going to be doing a lot of damage, and then it also has Null Guard built in. So it is going to be having fantastic synergy with special cooldown skills like Flash Barrow, for example, which she comes with. And then if she initiates combat, triggers the special, and then survives, then she's able to do one of two things. Either she's going to be dancing up an ally with the highest HP in 2 spaces if they have already acted, and if they're a ranged ally, then she's going to be inflicting gravity on them. She's not going to be inflicting any kind of gravity on a danced ally if they are melee unit, which is really good compared to Requiem Dance. And if there's absolutely no ally that has acted in 2 spaces, she's going to be able to get herself the Times Gate status, which is pretty much like a super guidance that allows allies in 4 spaces to warp next to the unit. So this kind of status is again really useful for Aether Raids defense, and she is going to be functioning kind of similar to Brave Marianne, but one thing which I kind of dislike with her is that she will have to depend on the enemy to counterattack to charge up and, you know, trigger her Lightest Time, because it's a 4 cooldown special, unlike Requiem Dance. So Brave Marianne is going to be a lot more useful for the player phase teams and Gale Force teams because she can immediately trigger her special. But for Kvasir, it is going to be needing a bit of pre-charging because you don't always want to depend on the enemy to counterattack to trigger your special, because a lot of times they're probably going to be having full damage reduction piercing like Duo Byleth, for example, which is definitely going to be a bit unfortunate. But she is definitely an Aether Raids defense unit through and through with her weapon and her special. And she does come with Flash Barrow, which, like I said, has got really good synergy with the Null Guard of her weapon. She also comes with Lull Speed Resistance 4, and they already know, so they have made her as a Aether Raids defense unit right out of the box. She also has the tier 4 version of Null Follow-Up, which is really nice as a support. So now it can also give the Null Follow-Up status and the Order status to the units themselves. Previously, any kind of unit who ran Infantry Null Follow-Up, they were not really able to get any kind of status themselves, but now they can also get the Null Follow-Up while giving this to the allies in 2 spaces. So pretty nice supportive skill, which I'm going to be looking forward to getting in hopefully Hall of Forms after a couple of months. You're definitely going to be seeing her in Aether Raids if you play that game mode a lot, because she's an Aether Raids defense unit. So if you face her, your tank better have the damage reduction piercing, otherwise they're going to be having a bad time with the Flash Smoke and the Times Gate status. And Duo Byleth that we have just gotten actually takes on New Year Kvasir pretty easily, and they do showcase that refreshing that she did to her ally Gulvig. And then we've got the 4-star focus of this banner in Year Male Kana. So this time he is a red infantry dragon, and he does come with a really good base kit for a 4-star focus, providing some good fodder and also a really nice inhibitable breath. We don't really get the inhibitable breaths as much compared to many of the other weapon types, and Arcane Grima is kind of old at this point, so this breath is pretty much on par with it, because you're going to be able to get +4 to all of your stats in the combat, and you're going to be able to get that flat 20% damage reduction based on the speed on the first attack of the enemy, which is also going to be including the brave hits. So having the flat damage reduction on an inhibitable breath is really strong. And this is going to be a really good breath for the faster dragons, because if you've got more speed than the opponent, then you're able to get full null follow-up in the combat. So they can just use something else in their slot B, which is going to be helping. And having this kind of flat damage reduction breath is really good. We don't really get too many breaths that are tailored towards fast dragons, so it is nice to have. And Kana can definitely make use of this because of his 46 base speed that does have a super boon. Kana also comes with attack resistance Cal 3 at 4-star, which can be helpful if you're trying to inherit a skill from Rhea, but she doesn't really come with any other tier 4 skill. So I guess in future, if you get another attack resistance Cal unit, it is going to be helping you. Or it can also help you if you're trying to duplicate the skill using Rearmed Grima. So I guess that's also worth noting. And then he also has Dragon Wall present as a 5-star locked skill. So I was kind of expecting the tier 4 version of Dragon Wall at this point, but it didn't really happen with this banner. But I guess whenever it happens in the future, he can also be helpful. So overall, Year Male Kana can be a pretty solid demote unit, and if you really want to plus and merge him, then this could be the chance because he's a 4-star focus, and this weapon that he brings is actually not that bad if you have a fast dragon. And then we also have a female Year Kana, which I'm going to be going over after we go over the start of this banner in Duo Seidr. So Duo Seidr is going to be present with Aether this time, and she is a blue flying mage, just like Brave Gullwig. So being a flying unit, she's going to be enjoying the company of legendary Hinoka for getting the special charges and also the charge status. So definitely keep an eye out for Duo Seidrs on Aether Raids defense, because she's going to be run with Hinoka quite a lot. And here she can trigger her Slotsy skill, and you also can see another status effect on the foe. So her weapon Goddess Temari is a blue tome, giving her -1 special cooldown, and that is going to be making Iceberg into a 2 cooldown special. And then at start of turn, if her HP is at or above 25%, then she can give herself and the allies in 2 spaces +6 attack and resistance buff, and also the foe cannot make a follow-up attack status. So this is the status effect that regular Seidr can also provide to her allies, and we have also seen this with Attack Smoke 4. So it's not the most busted effect because we have got a lot of null follow-up nowadays, but I guess it is going to be another status effect that he can stack up. And then she can also get +5 to all of her stats in the combat, and then she can get extra stats to all of her stats depending on the number of turns multiplied by 2, and the max is going to be 8. So again, with her weapon, she can get +12 to all of her stats in the right conditions, just like Nerthuz. And turn 2 onwards, her Canto 1 is going to be enabled. So her weapon is a mix of Seidr's weapon and Aether's weapon, which does make sense. Turn 3 onwards, she's able to get true damage based on the highest total bonuses among herself and the allies in 2 spaces. So essentially, it is a better treachery effect, and the reason why I say that is because treachery can be negated if the enemy has got any kind of lull or dull skill, but this is not going to be ignored because even if you ignore the visible buffs of Duo Aether herself, she's going to be counting the visible buffs of the allies in 2 spaces. So that's why it's a bit better treachery, and it doesn't really include the AoE specials for its true damage. And turn 4 onwards, in her player phase, if she initiates combat, and if her resistance is at or above foe's resistance +5, then she's going to be able to get the Brave effect. Or if she has got the Timesgate status active on herself, which is the status effect that we saw from Kvasir, or if Time's Grip status is active on the target or foes in 2 spaces of the target, it is going to be treating the number of turns passed as 4. So it is not really all that hard for her to get the max effects out of this weapon. And Time's Grip status is a new negative status effect that can inflict -4 debuff to all of the stats of the enemy if they are inflicted with this status effect. And it is also kind of like reverse viewed because it is going to be neutralizing any of their skills for their allies' combat. So for example, if someone like Vale is inflicted with the Time's Grip status, then she's not going to be able to give out the Drive Scowl effect to her allies, which is a big part of her kit. So not only this new status effect can help you prevent the usage of the skills of the enemy, but also lets you trigger Duo Seidr's weapon to its max, because it is going to be counting the turns passed as 4. So that is pretty good, and she does have Remote Mirror and Iceberg. So Remote Mirror is going to be giving you that damage reduction, but I do think that running Still Water is probably for the best because she needs to stack up that resistance for future Sighted. And then she's got the speed resistance variant of the Sabotage skill, which is a bit funny because she's not really all that fast, but still I guess this is for her allies. And her ally is definitely going to be someone like Legendary Hinoka, so she does appreciate the speed debuffs. And she's got her exclusive Slotsy skill in Future Sighted, so this is pretty much a better version of Future Focused of original Seidr, which only worked on the odd turns, but this skill can work both on even turns and on odd turns, and now it has got a lenient condition, so meeting the resistance check is a lot easier now. So she's able to end the action of the closest foes in the cardinal direction that don't have the time grip status on them, and if she wins the resistance check, so just like original Seidr, she's gonna be using her visible resistance, and the closer you are to the foe, the less resistance you'll require. And she herself inflicts the foe with the time script status, as we saw with the gameplay before. And if she's within 3 spaces of an ally, then she can get +4 to all of her stats in the combat, and also gets guaranteed follow-up attack, which is good because she's not really the fastest. So even though she has got the player phase brave effect, having this guaranteed follow-up attack is going to be making her quad if the enemy is slow enough and if they don't really have any kind of null follow-up skill. And then she can also get 30% damage reduction on foes' first attack. So this Slotsy skill is going to be helping her become a really good unit for Aether Raids defense and also for Aether Raids offense usage. Even though this is better than what Seidr has got, I still like Seidr because she's a mythic herself. So if you're using Seidr in your mythic core, then she serves 2 purposes, which is to function as a mythic unit for the scoring and also end the action. But if you're going to be using her as a non-mythic, then you'll need to bless her, and that is going to be taking a team slot, compared to a mythic unit who's always going to be there as part of your mythic core. But this also allows her the flexibility to function in Aether Raids defense. And if you haven't really faced any kind of Seidr in the Chaos season, then you're gonna be not liking what she can do with her Slotsy skill, because she can just end the action in her own lane if she has enough resistance. So that just means that you will have to dance up your unit if you wanna, act and do something in that turn. Nothing can cleanse this, no Freyr, no recovery skills, nothing like that. So it is gonna be pretty annoying whenever this is gonna be seen in Aether Raids defense. And this can also be used in Summoner Duels, but it is gonna be a lot more map dependent, and a lot of times this is not gonna be something that you're gonna be using on turn 1, but turn 2 onwards you're gonna be able to use this. So the main usage of this is gonna be in those 2 game modes, and also for Gale Force teams in Aether Raids offense if you wanna end the action of multiple foes at the same time, which is really helpful for collecting the pots. And then you also have the pre-combat damage available if you want to run that with Flared Mirror or Occultist Strike in her slot B. So that can all make her a very annoying unit to tank, and then she also just ends the action of the foes, which is going to be the main highlight of her as a unit. So again, another unit that we're going to be seeing in Aether Raids defense, and I think that she's going to be a pretty solid unit there because a lot of flyer lines kind of miss having a good duo flyer. A lot of times they're going to be using someone like Duo Sanaki or Duo Shamir or Duo Kagero instead, so that you can activate your duo's hindrance structure. But now we have got a really solid duo flyer who can function in a flyer line, and Duo Seidr does have this duo skill which can provide her and the allies in 4 spaces with the Times Gate status and the special cooldown charge +1 status. So this is going to be pretty amazing for Summoner Duels, but outside of that, she's going to be activating the duo's hindrance structure in Aether Raids defense. So not the most insane duo skill, but its range is definitely pretty good with any kind of ally in 4 spaces. So with the Times Gate status, you're going to be able to teleport, and you can also get the special charges. So here we see Seidr just absolutely destroying this enemy with the quad attacks with her high damage output. Definitely going to be a fun unit to use, but a unit that is not going to be fun to face. We are also going to be getting a new Tempest Trial, which is going to be giving us the Distant Counter Melee Sacred Seal. So this is going to be equipable on any kind of sword, lance, or axe unit. Unfortunately, beast units are not going to be having access to it. So this is our second 300 SP Sacred Seal, which is huge for arena scoring because units like Fargus can score like 205 BST now if you run the Sacred Seal with other 300 SP passives. And if you have a unit with a preferred slotted skill like Flame Tribe Lin, then you can just access Distant Counter while still enjoying your preferred slotted skill at the same time. This can combo up with a lot of different skills, so I may make another video going over the combinations because I do have some ideas. And we also have speed resistance catch 3, but the distant counter melee skill is definitely going to be the highlight. And it's not like you'll have to upgrade the Sacred Seal. If you just get it from Tempest Trial, then you can access it to its full power. So it's going to be incredible on many of the units, and this is something that, builds can have flexibility around going forward. We're also going to be getting Year Female Kana as the free-to-play reward from the Tempest Trial, and then after that she's going to be available in the Grail pool. So she's going to be a plus and merge project option for many people because she can score like a 200 BSC unit with the distant counter Dragon Sacred Seal, and her stat spread is definitely not that bad because it's really similar to that of Year Male Kana. She ends up having a bit less speed, but a bit more attack. But she has got the speed super boon, so that is going to be helpful. And she does come with Dragon's Ire 3 at 5-star and also Drive Resistance 2 at 4-star. So she brings some good fodder, and she also has a new Inhibitable Breath, which is going to be giving +4 to all of her stats. And it also gives 15% of her attack as the flat damage reduction on foes' first attacks, including the brave hits, and then she can inflict the guard on the foe in the combat. So this can be a good weapon on many of the slower dragons compared to the weapon of Kana that is suited for the fast dragons. And because she herself is fast, you can give her Male Kana's weapon and she's going to be functioning really well with it. Arcane Grima is also going to be an option, but I'll be going over everything else in my unit review of her. So let me know in the comments what do you think about this banner and these new batch of units and the distant counter melee Sacred Seal. And if you guys enjoyed, then make sure to leave a like and a comment, helps you tremendously. And if you really enjoyed, you could always support me directly by using super thanks down below or by becoming a YouTube member. And for more FEH videos, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell because YouTube sub boxes are about as functional as distant counter Sacred Seal for beast units. So that's it, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.